Mr. Kuhn, you are suing Mr. Vega, who is a scuba dive instructor, for $400 that you paid him to get you scuba certified. You paid him the $400 up front. You took the online portion of the training class, but when it came time to schedule the swimming pool classes, he essentially blew you off, didn't return your texts or your emails. You feel you have no choice but to sue him to get your $400 back. Mr. Vega, you say you have every intention of getting him scuba certified. But during this period of time, you were going through some mental health issues and you couldn't just comply with his schedule. But you were intending to get him certified. But now, because he got pushy with you and started to demand money back, you've actually told him about your no refund policy. And you say you owe him nothing. Now, Mr. Kuhn, why don't you tell us, how did you first meet Mr. Vega?
I met Anesti Vega shortly after I enrolled at the Florida Institute of Technology as a student there, where I study physics and mathematics. I joined the Scuba Club, where Anesti Vega was the Scuba Club president. The first meeting, he advertised that he will train students at a reduced rate. So typically, dive shops will charge about $500 to $1,000 or even more for basic scuba certification. And Mr. Vega promised $400 for the scuba certification, plus some smaller fees for equipment.
Now, Mr. Vega, are you also a student at the same school?
I am, yes.
Okay, and you were a member of this club that he's talking about?
I'm the founding president of the club. I decided to use my VA benefits to go back to school and obtain a degree myself. And when I got to the university, there was no scuba club. I became an instructor to be able to create more accessibility to scuba diving and to help people feel more comfortable in the water, and also create pipelines for marginalized communities to get into marine science and become ocean ambassadors. And when I got to the university, I saw an opportunity to create more access through creating the club.
Okay, so Mr. Kuhn, why don't you tell us what happened when you enrolled in his class?
Can I actually take a step back to how Anesti presented himself when I first joined the club?
Sure.
You can see in Exhibit L, there are some excerpts from the presentation.
I see it was a detailed
Yes.
statement or a detailed letter to you telling you that it was going to be in 3 phases.
Yep.
First phase was the online phase. Mm-hmm. Second phase, actually get into a swimming pool.
Yes.
And then the third phase, you go out with a boat and a dive, regular dive.
Or in some other open water environment, yes.
Okay. And I think you said you gave him $400.
Yes, that's correct.
And did the first portion of it.
Yes, I did the e-learning portion. It's about 20 hours of self-study, go through the course, watch videos, there's a quiz, tests, that kind of thing.
And I think you said you finished that in early first week of October.
Yes, that sounds about correct, yeah.
And did you then make arrangements with Mr. Vega to do the swimming pool?
I tried very hard. I tried very hard for a period of about 200 days to make any sort of arrangement to move forward with the process.
Okay, Mr. Vega, I'm not going to go through this because I don't think you're going to dispute this, but he does send you emails in mid-October, you don't respond. Late October, you don't respond. Finally, in late November, he tells you that he wants to get a refund unless you respond to him. And then you reach out to him. What happened?
I didn't receive the notification that the e-learning was completed until about mid-October. Around that same time, I have a close family member who was having some significant issues in and out of the hospital. And I needed to take a break from pretty much everything. I had withdrawn from classes that semester about 2 weeks before the end of the semester. At the time, I was just trying to get the word out that I needed to take a break.
But you didn't get the word out to him.
So if I...
No, hold on. I'm talking to Mr. Vega.
So I had presented at a few different club meetings, which a lot of my students are in. In fact, the majority of my students are also members of the club.
You were still running the club meetings?
Yes.
So you didn't withdraw completely?
Technically true. I was doing the best I can to balance everything I had going on in my life. Being an Army combat veteran, I had the notion in my head that civilian life couldn't throw anything at me that I hadn't seen already. And so communication with my students fell through a little bit. I had more rapport with some than others, and so they would text me or run into me here and there, and it traveled through word of mouth that I needed to take a break with everything that I had going on.